Welcome, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for having me. It's such a good day. So I'm excited to be having this conversation with you today.
Yes, a wonderful day. I wanted to start by asking the Biden administration's commitment to folks on the margins, to diversity, is very well documented. Griner is at the intersections of being a Black woman and also a lesbian, and
So I want to say, let me to answer your question, and then I want to say something more broadly after that. Sherelle Griner spoke to this very eloquently today at the podium with the president when he made the announcement of the release of Brittney Griner, and she talked about how thankful she was to the administration, to the president, and she talked about folks in the administration that she worked really closely with on through this process, who gave her so much support. But she talked about her outside network, right? The outside groups who had Brittney Griner's in their prayers, but also lifted her up and just continue to push and push for this moment as well. And so I think Sherelle said it eloquently. She said it beautifully, and I would not be able to say it better than she did, as she went through this process clearly, very personally. And I would say more broadly, as it relates to the White House, look, President Biden keeps his promises. And today, this was a promise that was fulfilled, that was deeply important to bring Brittney Griner home. To a family that loves her, to her teammates that misses her, and a country, a country, and you saw this, Tracy. You reported on this that was marveled. They marveled at her strength and her courage. And Brittney's safe home return was also a product of months and months of painstaking negotiations that was from a culmination, if you will, of extraordinary efforts across the U.S. government. You think about the White House officials here, my colleagues that I work with. You think about the State Department, and they were relentless. They were relentless in getting this negotiation completed and done, and getting her release. And it has been for the past 6 months. And we had conversations, intense conversations with the Russians, with Russia, on looking at different avenues to bring her home. And today is a really good day. It's a great day for Brittney and her family. It's a great day for our country. One last thing I do want to say, we've been asked about Paul Wheelan. The last several weeks, it was made very clear to us that that Brittney was going to be the only person that we would be able to bring home. And the president, as you know, the president has this moral center, and he believed that we needed to bring her home, right? Because the option that was before us was either Brittney or no one. And so we had the opportunity to do that, and he took it. And we're going to continue to fight for Paul, and we're going to continue to fight for other Americans who are wrongfully detained abroad.
I wonder, do you have any idea when Brittney will be headed home?
Yes, so she is on a plane right now, headed home. I don't want to disclose the location, just out of privacy and security for her and her family. We expect her to be arriving on American soil in the next few hours. So we're very excited about that, where she will be reunited with her wife and her family, and it will give her. She will have an opportunity. What we normally do is offer services for folks who are coming back after being wrongfully detained, so that they can kind of re-engage, re-emerge into society. And she'll have anything that she needs, whether it is some mental health care or physical care. And so I'm not going to go beyond what that might look like for her, or how she is doing. We had said that she's in good spirits. The president and Sherelle and the vice president and the Secretary Blinken had an opportunity to talk to Brittney as she was on a plane traveling back, and they said she was in good spirits. So not going to get ahead of that, but we're going to give her privacy and allow her to tell her story, allow her to speak for herself if she chooses to do that.
I wonder, now that she's on a plane and she's on her way home, did she have any special requests?
Oh, that's a good question. I
or
actually don't know. I don't know. I didn't ask the president that. I don't know. My guess is she wants to. I mean, if I were her, I would be thrilled to be coming home and seeing my family. And I know when I mean, putting your head on your pillow and being in your bed and being able to like hug your loved ones. But I actually don't know if she had a special request. That's a good question.
Well, thank you. Now that she's on her way home, what can you tell us about her treatment while she had been detained? Is there anything you can share with us?
So again, I'm not going to speak for her. I'll let her tell her story if and when she's ready to do that. Don't have any insight to share on that. But he works very hard to do that.
Well, thank you for that. And there has been a lot of talk online since Brittney was first detained about the fact that women athletes are paid just a fraction of what their male counterparts are paid. And had she been paid a wage closer to that, perhaps she wouldn't have even been in Russia. And I wonder if you might speak to the deleterious effects of the gender wage gap and how this played out.
Look, this is something that the president is certainly zeroed in on and has spoken to about the equal pay. We've had the women's soccer team here to talk about that. As you know, they've been at the forefront on speaking, on making sure, or speaking or fighting to make sure that women in sports get paid equally. And that is something that the president has worked on throughout his administration during these past almost 2 years, and he's going to continue to speak to that. I know that this conversation was a real conversation that needed to be had. Sadly, talking about athletes who go abroad, like Brittney, as she did in this case, sadly it took this event to have that conversation, and we need to continue to talk to it because it is a problem. It is a situation that's very real for women athletes, and they should have the option to stay right here and make the money to survive and to live their lives that they want to live, from being a phenomenal athlete, being able to do something that many others can't. And so it's truly unfortunate, and I hope we continue to have that conversation as to why this continues to occur.
The motion is adopted.
Could I just say, I do want to say something about respect for marriage, as you know, and I think you followed the president for some time, and this is very personal to me, as you know, Tracy. When the president was vice president in 2012, he said something that many others, national elected officials, were not saying at the time, which is love is love. And it shouldn't matter who anybody wants to marry. And he continues to say that. What we saw today in Congress was a critical step forward, an important step forward. It will give peace of mind, if you think about it, to millions of LGBTQI plus and interracial couples as well, who are now guaranteed the rights and protections to which they and their children are entitled. And so that is important. It is such a critical moment for so many reasons in our country. And the president is so looking forward to signing this piece of legislation into law, to giving those protections to people who need it and should have it and deserve it as just Americans in this country. And this is something that he's been fighting for quite some time during his career. So we are excited. We will be celebrating with everyone the day that the president signs this bill. And again, very personal to me. I couldn't be more proud of being part of this administration, working for this president today.
Thank you so much, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. This has been a wonderful conversation. I thank you for all your work.